Hello, I'm Ian, also known online as Ruffle Bricks, and this is the R-B-Sides, a music review channel with a twist. Ever since I was a kid, I've been fascinated by remixes. I've always been intrigued whenever an artist hands over the parts of their meticulously crafted song to another artist and they say, "Here, have a muck about with these." I would often find myself rifling through the credits of remix collections back when Discogs.com became a thing in order to find out more about the remixers and their back catalogues, just to try and find as many obscure and unusual musical gems as possible. However, I've often found that records dedicated to remixes tend to get overlooked by reviewers, especially on YouTube. So that's why I've created the R-B-Sides. This channel is entirely dedicated to reviewing remix albums and EPs of any genre by looking at the original source material side by side with the remixes and listening to what's changed. I want this to be a channel that reviews music across the entire spectrum of remixing, whether it features remixes of artists from the past or remixes of artists much more recent, remixes of artists most people will have heard of, or remixes of artists a fair bit more obscure, entire overhauls of an artist's album, or just EPs that remix a select few tracks, remixes that stick kinda close to the original, or remixes that completely go off in their own direction. Records that I've listened to many times in the past, or records that I'll be listening to for the very first time. As long as it's a record dedicated to the potentially endless possibilities of the remix, it's eligible for review on this channel. I want to show that remixing isn't just about making music more club friendly, although it's certainly very useful for that purpose, but it's also for drawing out new creative possibilities in songs, often changing their tempo, their key, their melodies, their emotions, their atmosphere, and even sometimes their vocals. That said, here's a quick list of things that this channel won't be about, just to hopefully save us a back and forth in the comment section. Cover versions. I think covers generally get pretty good attention compared to remixes, so unless they're part of a remix dedicated package, then they're not really for here. Remastered editions. I don't know enough about mixing to really comment much other than, yeah, I guess it sounds a bit clearer. Tracks that sample other tracks but aren't explicitly remixes. Unless it's actively conceived and credited as a remix, that doesn't count. What's the difference? Maybe I'll do a video about it at some point, once I actually find out. Unofficial remixes. There's already so many officially released remixes out there for me to cover that I need to narrow things down somehow. So trawling YouTube, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, etc. to find random bootlegs is just going to be too overwhelming. Plus, if you've been commissioned specifically to remix an artist and that work's being released, then that shows you're trustworthy in the field of music creation. Well, theoretically. And although I'm not against covering mashups per se, I will most likely limit any coverage I do purely to ones I think are going to be interesting to discuss. Otherwise, most reviews are just going to be like, yeah, this song works well over this song. Next. So those are the things that this channel isn't really about, but that's me talking now. Give it a week and I'll probably remix the entire channel. And finally, I'm not going to give any of the records numerical ratings on this channel, but I will be ranking remix records based on whether I think they are better than the original or not. Based on a rating scale of no, partly, kinda, mostly, and yes. I should warn you all that, like many critics, my opinions are going to be entirely subjective and not necessarily informed by music theory or technical knowledge, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't agree with all of them. So if that all sounds of interest, please subscribe to the channel, check out the reviews, and drop me a comment to let me know how you feel about them. And if there are any remix albums that you'd like me to review, then let me know. I've got a huge list already, so I'm not going to promise anything, but I'm sure there's loads of stuff out there I've missed, so do let me know. Thank you for watching. This intro is over.